You know, for most of history, we thought of maps as something you draw on parchment or carve in stone. But what if the ultimate map of the universe wasn't an object at all? What if it was alive? For the ancient Slavs, it absolutely was. Their map was a colossal cosmic tree that connected every single plane of existence. So let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine a world without the grandest cathedrals, without any holy temples. Where would you go to find that sense of the divine? For many ancient peoples, including the Slavs, the answer was simple. You'd go outside. They found their divinity in what we'd now call natural sanctuaries. I mean, why build walls to try and contain your gods when you could feel them in the rustling leaves of an ancient forest, hear them in a bubbling spring, or stand right beside them on a mountain peak? And look, this isn't just some new age idea we're projecting backwards. The Roman historian Tacitus was writing about this literally 2,000 years ago. He described how Germanic tribes would consecrate entire groves, seeing divinity not in some statue, but in a hidden presence that you could only perceive through reverence. Okay, so what's really fascinating about these holy groves is what they didn't have. Yeah, sources tell us they had clear, fenced-off boundaries, places for sacrifices, spots for tribal meetings. But here's the kicker: no temples, no buildings. And a lot of the time, no idols or statues of the gods either. The star of the show was nature itself. And this created an atmosphere that the Romans had a great term for, prisca formido. It means ancient dread or ancient terror. So these weren't like peaceful, serene gardens, oh no. These were places of raw, untamed power that inspired both awe and a healthy dose of fear. But here's where it gets really mind-bending. For the Slavs, the grove wasn't just a sacred place on Earth. It was a gateway through the earth. That single most sacred tree in the middle of the grove, it wasn't just wood and leaves. It was the center of the entire universe. And here it is. This is the Slavic world tree. It's usually imagined as this colossal oak tree, and it wasn't just a map of the cosmos, it was the very skeleton of reality itself, the axis holding everything together. You know, there's actually a technical term for this idea, an axis mundi, or a world axis. And you see this concept in mythologies all over the globe, some kind of pillar or mountain connecting the heavens and the earth. But for the Slavs, that pillar wasn't stone. It was a living, breathing tree. All right, so if this tree is a map of everything, what's on it? Let's take a look. It breaks the universe down into 3 distinct but totally interconnected realms, all held together by the tree. So you've got 3 main levels. Up in the crown and branches, you have Pravia, the celestial world. The trunk of the tree, that's Jawia, our middle world, the world of the living. And way down in the roots, you have Nawia, the underworld. So let's start at the very top, in the canopy. That's Pravia. This was the home of the high gods, ruled by the thunder god Perun, who was often pictured as a giant eagle perched on the highest branch. But, and this is key, this wasn't heaven in the sense that human souls went there. It was more like the source code of the universe, the place where the cosmic laws of order and justice came from. Next up, we've got the trunk. This is Chwazia, the middle world, basically our world. But it wasn't just for humans. It was seen as a pretty harsh and dangerous place, also filled with nature spirits, demons, you name it. It was also kind of a waiting room. After you died, your soul would apparently wander around Chwazia for 40 days before finally moving on. And finally, we get down to the roots, to Navia, the underworld. And this is where Slavic mythology gets really cool and different. Because Navia wasn't some fiery hell, it was a lush, green paradise. A beautiful, watery plain where the god Veles looked after the souls of the dead like a shepherd. Yeah, you had to cross a fiery river to get there, but what was waiting for you wasn't punishment, it was an eternal green pasture. Okay, so we've got these 3 realms stacked on top of each other. But what's the engine that makes this whole cosmic machine run? Well, it all comes down to the eternal beef between the 2 gods who rule the top and the bottom of the tree. At the top, you have Perun. He's the god of the sky, thunder, justice, and order. His symbol is the eagle. And at the bottom, you've got his eternal rival, Veles. He's the god of the underworld, water, chaos, and his symbol is a serpent or a dragon. Their domains are polar opposites, and their rivalry plays out across the entire length of the world tree. But, and I really want to stress this was not a battle of good versus evil, not at all. Their conflict was seen as a necessary cyclical process. When lightning struck the earth, that was Perun up in the sky, attacking Veles down below. This divine drama is what actually drove the seasons, what brought the rain, and what kept the whole universe in a state of perfect dynamic balance. And what's so beautiful is how this cosmic struggle is mirrored perfectly in nature. Perun's sacred tree was the oak, tall, strong, reaching for the sky. Veles' tree, the willow, low-growing, flexible, always found near water. One represents heavenly order, the other represents the wild, fertile magic of the underworld. The whole cosmic story is right there, in the trees. So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, cool story, but this is all just ancient history, right? A forgotten myth. But what is so incredible is how this powerful symbol has survived, literally woven into the fabric of culture. See, the world tree wasn't just some abstract idea. It became a powerful visual symbol, an image passed down from mother to daughter for generation after generation, through the intricate, beautiful work of traditional folk art. I mean, just look at this. On one side, you have an ancient Mesopotamian carving of their tree of life. On the other, a traditional Russian embroidery pattern from centuries and centuries later. The resemblance is just uncanny, right? The core idea, this central axis of life, a source of order and fertility, is so fundamental it just echoes across thousands of years and thousands of miles. And in that Slavic embroidery, the world tree is just packed with meaning. It symbolizes the fertility of the earth, the origin of all life, and just like the tree itself, it connects different realms. It connects the past of the ancestors, the present world we live in, and the future of the generations still to come. It's an entire cosmology, a whole worldview, stitched right into a piece of cloth. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that a truly profound understanding of the universe, of life, death, and divinity can be encoded in something as simple and humble as an oak tree or a piece of needlework. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question. If a map of the entire universe can be woven into cloth, what other ancient maps are hiding right under our noses in plain sight?